Are you tired of spending hours creating a YouTube video only to see it flops after it's created? Or you're just unsure how to break out as a small channel? This video is going to change everything. I used to think I had a content problem, but it turns out I had a packaging problem. YouTube doesn't push good videos, it pushes good packaging. And 80% of your packaging comes from your video title. So if your title is not enticing enough and doesn't get enough people to click, then YouTube is going to stop recommending your video altogether. Now, in this video today, I want to share the 5 title mistakes that are so crucial to small channels and the exact formula to fix each one of them quickly, so you can apply them into your own videos easily to double your views. Mistake number 1 is lack of specificity. Now, first, I want to very quickly show you what do I mean by this with an example, and I'll give you 2 proven frameworks for you to apply to your videos. Let's assume that my current video title is How I Grew My YouTube Channel. It doesn't sound bad, right? It sounds okay, but in reality, it's way too vague and too fluffy. For example, you grew it by how much? How long did it take for you to grow it? Using what strategy? What kind of content, right? Like, viewers just simply don't know what they're clicking into. And if they don't know, they're not going to click. The reason I say that is because just like anything in life, people need a reason to do something. And the purpose of your video title is to provide them with a reason to click. And the easiest way to give them a reason to click is by providing them with specifics. The more specific your title is, the more enticing it is to your viewers. If we want to make it more specific, instead of How I Grew My YouTube Channel, we can simply change it to How I Got 1,000 subscribers in 60 days, posting only once a month. Now, if I were the person looking at this, I would want to click, right? Because I can see myself from this journey. Maybe they're also small channels, maybe they're also looking to grow, and they're curious how you did. So here are 2 formulas that you can steal right now to instantly increase your specificity. Number 1, how I achieved this specific result in this time frame, even if common problem. So an example would be how I got 1,000 subscribers in 60 days, even without weekly posting. And the second formula here is how I did this thing for this specific audience using this specific strategy. So an example for that would be how I grew my YouTube channel as a busy solo creator using my 2 video posting system. Now, mistake number 2 is lack of emotional appeal. Let's take the same example here, how I grew my YouTube channel. Judging from the title, you know what happened, but it doesn't make you feel anything, right? There's no tension, there's no story hinted, there's no emotional connection, period. It's flat, it's very safe, but it's also forgettable. If you want to make people to click, you need to make them feel something, right? Whether it's excitement, fear, hope, FOMO, whatever it is, you need to elicit a certain type of emotion from them. Now, if we were to change this old title into a more emotional version, so instead of How I Grew My Channel, it could be I was stuck at 27 views until I tried this one trick. The emotion that we're triggering here is hope and curiosity. It makes the viewer feel like they're seen with their problem because they might be stuck with the same problem, and make them feel curious that maybe there is the fix. Now, there are 2 proven formulas to help add emotional tension to your titles fast. The first one here is I was struggling at this until I tried this. So an example for that would be, I was stuck at 27 views until I tried this one trick, or until I fixed my titles. The second formula here is, this unexpected event almost made me quit or stop until this breakthrough. So an example for that would be, this video flop almost made me quit YouTube until I discovered this secret. Mistake number 3 is no clear result mentioned. Usually, it's either because the result is not mentioned at all, it's completely missing, or the result is too weak or not impressive enough. It's not big enough. It's not bold enough for people to actually pay attention to. Or it doesn't feel that urgent for people to care right now. So let's take the same example, How I Grew My YouTube Channel. If I were looking at it, I would feel, sure, you grew your channel, but by how much? You grew it to how big? And why should I care about it now instead of later? Your viewers are scanning dozens of YouTube titles in 2 to 3 seconds. If your title doesn't promise a clear result or give them a sense that it's going to be quick, simple, or urgent, then they move on. So if we want to convert this old title into something better, we can tackle it from 4 angles. The first one here is a more clear result. Typically, this is where you mentioned a bigger, bolder result. So instead of how I grew my channel, you can say how I grew my YouTube channel to 100K subscribers without taking years. The second angle you can tackle is simplicity. Okay, so the example here is how I grew my YouTube channel fast, posting only once a month with no editing. So this makes people feel curious. How were you able to do that? The third angle we're able to tackle here is speed. So how I grew my YouTube channel in just 21 days. From zero to monetization. So again, people would want to click to see how you did it, right? The fourth angle that you can also tackle from is urgency, implying this is going to be time sensitive. And an example would be why you need to fix your channel's title strategy today before next upload. Mistake number 4 is lack of curiosity. We were just talking about being curious, right? Like it's actually a really big driver of why people click. So using the same example, how I grew my YouTube channel, just looking at the title, if I were the viewer, I don't feel curious about anything. I don't feel compelled to click to know more about your journey. It's very predictable. But curiosity is what makes people stop the scroll. So here's one framework for you to apply to your videos to drive more curiosity. I tried this unexpected process or strategy, whatever it is, and this happened. So an example would be, I ignored SEO for 30 days and my YouTube views doubled. Now, mistake number 5 is a lack of contrarian take. And this is where things actually get fun because I noticed the best titles often break the rules. They make people pause and think, wait, what? I didn't know that could be true. So one quick tip for you is if you feel like your title right now is the same or very similar to what everyone else seems to be saying, then that one is definitely not going to work. Okay, so you need to pause it and think about another angle, ideally the opposite of the consensus, and try to tackle it from there. And one framework you can use here is why I stopped doing this and got better results. So for example, why I stopped posting every week and my channel actually grew faster. So that's the opposite of what people usually believe and is unexpected that wins. Okay, so real quick, in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you exactly how to tell if your new title is actually working. Because if you don't know the standard to evaluate your title's effectiveness, then you are essentially shooting blindly. So the key here is to watch for one metric, which is CTR, click-through rate. So CTR tells you how many people saw your video and actually clicked to watch. Okay, so for example, if your CTR is 4%, it simply means that when your video is presented to 100 people, only 4 clicked to watch it. And here are the standards. If your CTR is 4% or less than 4%, then it's not great. It means that YouTube is most likely not going to recommend your video at scale, which means that your video is not going to appear in suggested, it's not going to appear in browse homepage. Those two places is where most likely your video is going to break out and grow exponentially. But if your CTR is less than 4%, it's not going to be suggested in either of those two places. So in other words, it means that your views of that video is probably going to plateau and it's essentially dead in the water unless you have very strong search traffic that leads to it. And if your CTR is 5%, then it's decent, it's okay. But things get really good for you if your CTR is 6% or beyond. That's when YouTube starts liking it and starts recommending it on browse or suggested traffic more aggressively. So a quick 10-second recap. Remember, a great CTR is what gets your video suggested, recommended, and really break out to grow. And what determines a good CTR? Largely, it's your title. Okay, so we talked about all the different strategies to optimize and improve your title in this video. If you want all the title examples and formulas in one place so you can review them and apply them anytime, please hit subscribe here and join my email list so I can send over a copy to you. And in the next video, we're going to talk about something that's even more important, which is how to script your YouTube video so people keep watching. Because even the best titles don't really matter if you lose your audience in the first 30 seconds. Because there are a few moments in your video that trigger drop-off, and once you learn about how to structure around them effectively, your retention will jump really fast. So if you want to watch that too, please make sure that you're subscribed today so that you don't miss it when it comes out next week. I'll see you there.